packed like a lot.
Insane, right?
Yeah.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
What? When I realized that blew my mind.
It's cooking you right now.
Being broke.
Being broke.
Being broke. Moment in time, I want to be on the right side of history.
Welcome back, bro.
What's going on?
We have here the Dogecoin Millionaire, or as you call yourself now, the Slum Doge
The
Millionaire.
Slum Doge Millionaire.
Slum
Yeah,
Doge.
either title works.
Bajillionaire.
As the sauna heats up, the questions get hotter. We'll start at level 1, and by level 5, it'll feel like over 500 degrees on our body. Can our guest make it? Let's find out. And we also can't forget that we have a new co-host, Dylan.
You're a bajillionaire? Yep.
Dylan Jorgensen.
Okay, yeah.
Introduce yourself
Yeah, let
to
me
everyone.
because we were like, who's this block face guy? They're like, who's this guy?
It looks like two Lego bricks had a baby.
If that occurs naturally, I will deal with it. But
Hey, Dylan, what's the square root of your face?
That's so mean.
Come on, what are you guys in the comment section on my other channel?
Don't give him ideas. The
Yeah,
comment
come
section's
on,
mean.
guys. I have 97% more Neanderthal genes than the regular person.
So like the average person might have like 0.1, you might have 0.2.
Yeah, so my ancestors were like all about Neanderthals, and that's just carried over to my jawline. Okay,
Wow.
like that's how we got to this
Very
point.
strong.
Is that my intro?
It is your intro. No. Okay, so, let me explain how I know Dylan first. So
Okay,
I
sounds good.
met Dylan through Jen Kramer, who was the co-host before,
Right.
and I've known Jen since
Jim Kramer's daughter.
I've known Jen since like 2014, and then I met Dylan, surprisingly, actually before Jen, separate story. Dylan is sort of like a walking encyclopedia. He's one of the smartest people I know, and he is the kind of person who is so smart.
I don't know.
It's like he's ahead of every trend that I've ever seen, whether it was Bitcoin that you got into under $100, whether it's AI. This guy finds trends before they're relevant, which is actually hurtful if you're trying to do videos about them because no one's thinking about it yet.
Yeah.
And Dylan's the guy thinking about it before everyone else is. So he's the visionary before the visionaries.
That's very kind of you. That's probably
that's-
overly kind, but yeah, I love to. I'm a futurist.
He is a
Futurism is
futurist.
what my channel's all about.
That's right. And he's obsessed with avocados.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
beans.
every time I see this guy,
yeah,
he's
do you guys
got an
like
avocado shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, beans and avocados. We can explore those sides of my personality as time goes on.
As we go on.
I don't want to dump it all
If
onto
you
them at the beginning.
If you still stick with us after this. But right now we have
Yes.
The real
Pro,
star.
the Slum Doge Millionaire.
What's going on, guys?
Why Slum Doge Millionaire?
Slum Doge Millionaire. You didn't know about that?
No.
Okay. Well, it's because you're not on Twitter. You're not on crypto
No,
Twitter,
I
man.
don't.
Or X.
I care about my mental health.
Yeah, no, trust me, you're not missing out. But basically, Slum Doge Millionaire was a nickname given to me by the comment section.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So back when the Reddit thing happened, when I did the post, I just became a millionaire. I just became a Dogecoin millionaire on Reddit. Goes viral, 70,000 upvotes, main page of Reddit. And if you scroll down, you could go there now and look. And if you scroll down, like the top comments are like, the Slum Doge Millionaire. And then I had the Doge Father. I had Doge, Reservoir Doge. I had a bunch of them, the Underdoge. But yeah, Slum Doge just like kind of fit. Slum Doge Millionaire. I thought it was, and like I come from like a hip hop rap background, so that's a bar. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like it's like I'll play.
You
off the
know
movie.
Logic and
Yeah, I know Logic personally. I know Castro.
you were really up there in the
Yeah, in the
music
scene, in
industry.
the hip hop scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in LA running around, doing the best I could, and I was like interviewing all types of artists and celebrities and red carpet events and what have you.
Which is crazy because I remember when I met you and I was looking through your Robinhood portfolio when it reached like $3 million. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you should cash out. Of course, that never happened. But I was
Yeah.
like, what's your goal? And you're like, I want this to hit $10 million so I can sponsor
Yeah.
my friend Lambo, because that was the main reason you went to LA.
Yeah.
You wanted to sponsor an artist who you really believed in, who, by the way, is extremely talented. His name is Lambo.
Yeah.
And you let me listen to his music. I was like, this guy sounds like anything I'd hear on the radio.
Yeah.
And you wanted to put money so that his songs would play on the radio.
Right, exactly. So basically, Lambo's one of my best friends, and I also manage him. Technically speaking, he's my artist, nice. And one of the biggest reasons why I moved to LA in the first place was to get him a record deal. And we were running around Maryland for a few years to no avail. Like, we had little buzzes here and there, but, they would subside. But it wasn't until I moved to LA that things really took off. And like within the first year, like I was still sleeping on couches. I got him a record deal with like a major label.
Wow.
And so we did that, and we just been running around since then. And it's funny because they actually talk about him. He's featured on my documentary.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing.
yes, and his music plays in the documentary.
And
Yeah,
speaking
yeah,
of
tell us about the documentary.
Yeah, we want to hear about that. So
Sure.
I've seen it. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah,
We had
yeah,
a
100%.
pre-screening here in Vegas, and yeah, tell people about it because I don't think most people know about it.
Okay, so shortly after, and it's funny because we have a video together before it even started taking place. I was like, I'm gonna have a documentary, and then you're like, what? That's crazy. Like the New York Times that just happened. So anyways, so the series of events was Reddit blew up. From Reddit,
I found you.
He found me from Reddit. You were the first YouTuber to interview me. And then from Reddit, it went to CNBC. Actually broke the story, and I was doxxed and revealed my identity and all that stuff. After CNBC happened, that's really what catapulted me, because after that it was Times Magazine, Business Insider, Newsweek. I was on, and then the New York Times happened, and that took it to the next level. So the documentary happened around that time. I want to say shortly after CNBC, that's when they contacted me. So I had 3 different teams reach out to me, production teams reach out to me to do a documentary, and at that time I didn't know who to go with. I was kind of filming with everybody, and then I eventually had to make a decision on who I thought had my best interest in mind and who I thought was going to tell the story.
Yeah, because you don't know how they want to portray
Yeah,
it.
that's
Some of them
scary. So you had control over that?
So I worked very closely with the team as far as like the events in my life that I wanted to show. You know what I mean? Like they were very open. I was like, hey, this is gonna happen. Like for example, I had the podcast with Graham. I was like, this would be an awesome thing to film. And then they followed me. They went there. I went
crazy.
to meet Kevin's house.
Yep.
And we did a whole thing. They went there. They were there for SNL.
Yep.
They were there for the entire journey. So like, if you remember, if you were in crypto, if you were in the stock market in 2021 when everything boomed, after the GameStop thing, you remember the euphoria, right? Like you remember living through that and that being a moment in time. And so the documentary perfectly captures that moment in time. So when you're watching it, you kind of relive that euphoria. It's so crazy.
It's so interesting that like back then, I remember it was euphoric. Everyone was so excited. Yeah. And after everything collapsed and after people didn't sell and people lost money, it was crazy because the sentiment changed to like, people got greedy.
Like, do you remember? Do you guys remember when everybody was just like, "Have you heard of Bitcoin? Have you heard of Bitcoin?"
Sure, yeah. But just the greed. Everyone's like, "Oh, this guy got too greedy." Right. And I vehemently disagree with that. Right. Because I disagree. Greed to me, like the definition of greed is like all for me and none for thee. Right. Like none for anyone else. But that wasn't the vibe back then. At all. Everyone was just so excited, and they were just so happy to see all the money that they were making. They just wanted to keep making more. It was like the same feeling you get when you're gambling.
Exactly.
It's excitement and irrational.
But it's also, I don't know, like, I feel like people have different motives for why they do things and different reasons behind, like, you have bad characters, you know what I mean? Like, you have people that really are just out for themselves. But I feel like most people, I would like to think most people are good, and I feel like most people, especially at that time, were so intrigued and so like hyper focused on what can change the world with this money thing.
You know what I mean? The decentralized,
it felt like? It felt like you were a part of a movement that was changing the world.
It felt like the Occupy Wall Street movement, it had like found its answer. Kind of like they were like, oh, dude, this is the thing. Right,
exactly. So everyone kind of got together and it became a movement. Like it almost got to the point where people were like, I don't care if I lose money with this. Like we're sticking it to the man. Absolutely. We're coming together. We're making a change. We're making a difference. This moment in time, I want to be on the right side of history. You know what I mean? And
that's what GameStop was. That's what AMC was. Sticking it to the hedge funds.
I forgot about that.
Partially,
AMC too, huh?
Yeah, AMC and partially Dogecoin was part of that movement.
It was. Dogecoin came right after GameStop.
Okay, so when's the documentary coming out? And where can people see it?
So technically, the first viewing. So we got picked up by Tribeca, the Tribeca Film Festival, which is huge. We had a whole red carpet event in New York.
How was that like?
I invited this guy.
I've actually, not to brag, but I've been to a red carpet event myself. When I did Now You See Me in New York, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
Nice. Dude, is it just like heaven on your feet? Like, what's a red carpet?
No, it's literally a red carpet.
But you did it barefoot. Of course. Like, how could you not? Like, you sense everything you can, use all those nerves.
I remember I was like 22 or...
I would have taken my shoes off.
In retrospect, I should have taken my shoes off.
I was like 26 at the time, I believe. And it was a red carpet in New York, and you saw all the celebrities, all the actors that were part of the movie, the director, the writers, everyone.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Movie. and then you just shake hands, you just say good job, congratulations, and they walk by, and that's pretty much
it's like a little celebration right before the viewing, and then fun. So we had the viewing. It was awesome. We had journalists come there. We had people from some of the major streaming services show up just to like watch the movie and gave us great reviews. Shortly after that, the very first world premiere that we did there in New York, the reviews started coming out. And then if you go on Google right now and you look up "This is not financial advice" review, you can read any of them. They're all positive. It's all like and they all picked something out of the movie differently and kind of had a different perspective on it. So that was the first day, and then after that we had 2 more screenings. Yeah. And then we just recently did a screening 2 weeks ago in Washington D.C. On Capitol Hill.
That's amazing.
So that was fun.
I think you're just such a fascinating character in the world of finance. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're such a crossover where they're just like, what with the hair and the beard and like the vibe and the music, like the whole thing.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's very like you would never guess. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
it's the opposite of what you'd expect.
Exactly.
For sure. What's the portfolio at like now? Like, what is Dogecoin doing now? I don't follow Dogecoin very closely. The only time I follow really anything is if it's exploding. People are talking about it. I want to make sense of it. So, like, what's happening?
Dogecoin currently is around 7 cents, 7.5.
7.5 cents. What was at its peak? 30s?
75.
75. Okay.
Cents, okay. Yeah, and I got in at like 3-4 cents.
Okay.
So I'm still like almost double my investment, which is like more than a lot of people could say.
Sure.
For what they invested in 2021, especially NFTs. Yeah. If you got in on NFTs, you're down.
Yeah. At any moment.
Bored apes.
At any moment.
You're down. Sure. Yeah. You're so down.
Sure.
But yeah. So I'm thankful that I'm 2x up on my Dogecoin.
Like, just judging the community, is it still there? Like, does the community feel as strong as ever? It's a little down. It's coming up.
I feel like it's always been like this. I just I got in at the tail end of not the tail end. That's when I hopped on the train. You know what I mean? But before that, there was almost 10 years worth of community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is one of the oldest coins.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's got that core community that will always be there. And obviously, there's bandwagon people that jump in when it's hot and leave when it's not. You know what I mean? But but it's still there, it's still buzzing. Obviously I've also branched out.
Do you still believe in it?
Dogecoin?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've also gotten into other coins and gotten into other projects, and I've diversified my portfolio. So all my money isn't in Dogecoin anymore like it was before. That's not my entire portfolio.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready to level 2?
Yeah.
All right, let's
do it.
Dylan took my spot. Now he's in the spot that really kills you because he's right near the heater and it's really
going
hot.
From behind the camera
to
this.
We should do wait, I definitely can't say that. We should do.
If you say it that slow, I don't think it'll trigger. If it's like if you just 25 years in the middle.
So, question for you: how has your life changed since everything happened?
It's changed significantly.
Slum Doge.
It's almost like I broke out of the cage.
Yeah,
that's how it feels. Like it feels like I was in this hamster wheel for my whole life, and it's like something's got to give, and I was able to just burst out of it and break free from conventional, your 9 to 5. You're basically your slave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was able to
get
out
saying
of
$60,000 a year in one of your other podcasts. You spent years saving up $100,000.
Yeah,
that's $60,000 a year job.
And the funny thing is, that's what I would like people to talk about. Let's talk about how to save money, guys. Let's talk about how to get to the point where you can do something.
I want to see you spending your Doge on jets and water skis.
I wish everybody would take that.
But no, you're right. Let's focus on the.
How to
save out of the hamster wheel.
How to save money, man. How to and it's funny thing is, to me it's so simple. To me it's so very fundamental, very basic. And when I try to explain it to people, they don't want to give up their comforts of life. They want to hold on to everything because to them, I'm just spending a little bit on this, or this subscription is only this amount of money. And not understanding that all of that adds up, right? I lived on bare bones, minimum nothing.
Same. I can relate as well. I was making $50,000 a year and I saved $100,000, $150,000 in a couple of years.
It only takes you a few years.
It takes years if you're.
It took me 3 years.
Yeah. If you're living bare bones, and it's interesting because if you can do that, I feel like that increases the odds of whatever it is you're trying to do to be successful, whether it's YouTube or social media or investing. It just gives you a little bit of breathing room and like, a little bit of options.
And maybe that mindset of just like taking a stab at it every day, one step forward, and just climbing the mountain like step by step.
I was like I literally knew nothing of investing, nothing about stocks. Family was never involved in that. You know, we're immigrants. We're just trying to get by on a day-to-day basis. Parents didn't believe in the stock market. They didn't understand it. They didn't get it. And it's like, I have zero guidance in finance, zero help when it comes to how do I save money? How do I set myself up for retirement? How do I make more money? And it was really, it came down to the internet. It came down to Googling. It came down to Reddit. It came down to like searching for that shit. You know what I mean? And really getting on Google, like, typing how do I become a millionaire, like how to become a millionaire, like what do I do, what are the things that people do, right? And then finding, most millionaires have 7 streams of income, and like all these things, like how do I get to 7 streams of income, right?
And what made you start searching that in the first place? Like why were you just in the
being
hamster
poor,
wheel?
Being broke.
You're just like
being broke.
Like, I'm gonna check Google. Is there a way to not like be broke?
Can I not be like this and not feel like this always?
like I can't get the extra guac on the
thing,
food, like
right? I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't get extra guac at Chipotle. Now I do, bro. Now I'm at Chipotle. I get extra guac. How they say, sir, that's going to be extra. I'm like, dude, put it on there.
I guess I didn't really know how low you were at one point in your life. Like I just didn't feel.
I didn't have
what
Wi-Fi.
The pain was.
Like there's things that like people are like, this is a necessity. I'm like, nope. I didn't have Wi-Fi. I would go down the street to Starbucks every day.
It's so fascinating to me because you guys both have similar stories in how you made your wealth, except you did it. And you had a full-time job.
Well, I mean, if there's one thing I kind of have in common with a lot of some of these crypto people is that I bought into that belief. It wasn't even a belief when I knew about it. It was just a technical marvel. And I was like, this is just technically interesting. Like, I need to just have some and figure out how it works. And then...
But you had a background in technology, so you understood it. Whereas I remember when I discovered it in 2012, I didn't understand the technological marvel that it was.
Yeah, that was the
I was like,
thing.
people are making money with this? That sounds cool.
He was like, the technology is so amazing. I need to invest in this future technology.
I was, but then
nothing to do with money.
Then the community thing set in, and I was like, I'm ride or die, and then I just wrote everything to the ground and lost tons and tons of
on Bitcoin
of on paper wealth. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, because I went out into everything.
Cross your Bitcoin today and your assets, you are easily a millionaire.
No, not easily.
Yes,
I mean, okay.
He's like, it's taking work.
I wish you knew how much I was putting into YouTube and how much I just spent to survive.
You've told me. So Dylan also runs a YouTube channel called Curious Future.
Check it out now. Yeah.
And it talks everything about AI and the future of technology.
So because I just think AI, we talk about that another time, but it's just like artificial intelligence is just insane. Like we've never had a technology like this. So I'm in that same place where I was now, but I'm trying to not be so far ahead and think about what.
And how did you get the money that you invested in the first place for Bitcoin?
Well, that was just the tech job. So one thing I can't identify with, and I try not to, is that I was never like poor. I never struggled as an immigrant. Like I had a reasonable tech job right out of college, but I never really rich. Like my parents are just teachers.
How much were you making at the time?
That's a little bit of a trick question too, because I actually had built a startup and we were getting investment. And we were like making a lot more money than that, still in the garage. Like I had a ticketing company that I was the CTO of. So like I just have a weird funky story. Point? We have to interview our guests. Like I'd love to talk more about it. Okay. I'm so much.
We will find out about Dylan as we go on.
Okay.
But this guy is.
He's hyping me up too much. Don't buy into it.
Buy into it.
Be very nice.
What's up?
No, we're hear your story.
Well, let's talk about being broke.
Yeah, what's it like?
So it sucks.
Going to Wi-Fi? Yeah.
So has this documentary changed your life yet? Like, do people recognize you on the street?
I feel like people recognize me not because of the documentary. People recognize me just because of Dogecoin, YouTube. You either saw me on the media at some point if you were into crypto, or you see me on crypto Twitter, or you see me on the YouTube.
Would you say branding is your skill? Like I heard on another podcast how you said one of the bull thesis for Dogecoin was it's branding, and then it's like you yourself are like just so good at branding. Like,
and it's funny because like I've never gone to school for that, but I've also always been such a fan of good branding. Like I was such a fan of like when the iPhone came out and the packaging and how they put it together. I would save the pieces of packaging. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Like your heart rate is about to burst out of your chest.
Talk about
Get
Apple.
the hell out of
Got,
this thing.
Apple Watches on. But yeah, like branding. When Beats came out, remember the headphones?
Yeah.
Oh, you
The
knew.
way they branded it. So like it's like it's like an inherent thing with me.
Yeah.
Like I never realized I had kind of a knack for it. But when it came down to like working at the hip hop media company, it was like, hey, we should change the logo. Hey, we should do this. Hey, we should do that. Like I would do the thumbnails and make them as catchy as possible, right? So I had a lot of like. I dabbled a lot in branding. So when it came to the Dogecoin thing, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is like a marketing, branding, fucking amazing.
Is
crypto.
Dogecoin still the Apple, the best brand in crypto?
Best branding? Yes, I still believe
crypto?
that. In crypto. Because Bitcoin is like a technology, right? Bitcoin, there's no face to it. There's no connection to meme culture with Bitcoin. There's no connection to meme culture with Ethereum. These things are just so like straight up and down technologies, cryptocurrency technologies, and bringing along the future. Dogecoin is the first time crypto had a crossover with pop culture. You know what I mean? Like crypto finally was like, hey, this is a crypto technology. This is an ode to memes everywhere on the internet. And this is a pair. And now this meme is worth money.
Right.
Like that just like when I realized that blew my mind. I was
You
like,
realized that memes were just more like branding.
yeah, because memes are there's never been currency with memes. Memes have always been a free thing that no one knows who makes them.
That's a fascinating way to
that
think
is
about
weird.
meme coins. It's think about them as just their market cap and potential is just branding.
Dude,
Right.
Okay, so this is a little bit
Nostalgia,
What do
branding.
do you ever think? What if the U.S. dollar is just branded with our military and our presidents and our government, and that's like where the value
Oh,
from?
100%. That's a huge.
You know,
part of
even
the
like how
value.
weird
Yeah,
is that?
that's
So
true.
maybe is the United States just an intense meme that the whole world is like
It's the
bought
biggest
into,
meme.
and like
I mean,
The
that's
dollar bill is the biggest
one way
meme.
of looking at it. But speaking of market caps, you know what's interesting about market caps?
What?
What is the Dogecoin market cap right now? Do you know?
10 billion?
10 billion right now?
Pretty sure. 9 or 10.
Okay. So 10 billion, that doesn't mean that's how much money is in that space.
Right.
It's interesting. Like I did this
If
analogy
you
with
sold them all,
Yeah, like
that's how much you
with a
get.
deck of cards. Like there's 52 playing cards, right?
Right.
If I sold one of those cards for $1 to someone, that would make the implied value of that deck of cards $52.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that's how much I paid for it, or that's what it's worth.
Right.
So it's
Oh, yeah,
interesting
yeah,
that
yeah.
there is nowhere near the amount of $10 billion in Dogecoin, right?
Right.
So what would take it
That's for everything.
to increase its
Right.
value is much smaller to increase, but also a lot smaller to really crash and go
Right.
to, not zero. It's probably never going to go to zero. But
Right. No, it won't. And that's part of the reason why I was so into it as well. Because I was like, okay, I always get weary of brand new things, period. Right. Because it has to have staying power. It has to, like a company, right?
Sure.
Most companies die within a year, right? If it lasts longer than a year, then the chances of it staying around is higher. So with cryptocurrency is a lot of the same thing. So the fact that when I found out about Dogecoin, I thought it was a brand new crypto. So I was like, what is this? And I'm looking into it. I'm like, oh, this has been around since 2013 and it's still alive and well.
Yeah.
It's still a top 10 crypto. Like this is just the one. Like,
But was there anything looking back after the whole craze that you learned that you think differently about investing now? Because I remember
definitely.
having a conversation with you about Bitcoin and Dogecoin, and I was like, Bitcoin's probably going to be the only one that's valuable after a couple of years. And we had that discussion, and you were
we
like,
did.
yeah, but there's so many better cryptos with better technology. I was like,
That's true.
Oh, you're going through the technology phase. Like, let's
Yeah,
explore that.
yeah.
And was there? Do you find yourself in a new place thinking about investing now?
Real quick, can I hit this before?
Oh, sure, go for
I
it.
mean,
You want to get it crazy?
No, I don't want to. I just was hoping I could hit, like, not hit this or whatever. That sounds like
hit that
a
Where's the-
marijuana thing.
Where's the joint?
But I mean,
No.
because I'm gonna like pass out if we don't get through this thing. Okay, but now.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Yeah.
It's
feeling it.
insane, right?
Yeah. It's
Being over there is like it's cooking you right now.
It is, yeah. All right,
You're like a
Let's get to
Bro,
it.
take it away.
chicken.
Take it away. What have you learned?
What have I learned? I've learned.
Like, are you
so
like,
many
oh, I
things.
invest in the S&P 500 now?
Are
you still on the sort of
come
meme?
on, Andre. He's not gonna S&P.
No,
Who is this?
that's-
Warren Buffett?
That's boring. I don't like boring.
Why not
So
though? Like, why
boring.
wouldn't you just stick to the boring stuff? Because you know that's what works.
I know.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's boring now.
But I feel like to like gamble, like you were the equivalent of a lottery winner with
yeah.
Dogecoin.
Right.
You are a statistical anomaly in
Right.
many ways.
In many ways, right?
I'm sure you were prepared for it. You were at the right place, at the right time, with the right skill set.
I
with the
saw an
right money.
opportunity. I saw a
You
window
did.
of opportunity.
But you
and
are
I
also
took
by
it.
far a statistical anomaly.
Right.
And now that you find yourself here trying to gamble with more memes and more like gambling stuff, doesn't it seem like it's too much to expect to win twice.
So I try to invest my crypto in crypto wisely. I don't know if that even makes sense, but
that's most of your net worth, right?
Most of my net worth. So 2/3 of my net worth is in crypto.
But like not blue chip crypto, but like
blue chip. No, we're talking Dogecoin. We're talking Dogecoin is blue chip.
Is that blue chip?
It's a blue chip. Okay. It's been top 10 for
you heard
the
it here first.
Okay.
10 years. Cardano. Okay. I have a lot of Cardano.
Okay.
Like pack the bag.
Oh.
Like a lot.
I don't think I have much.
I also plan to get a huge position in Chainlink.
Oh.
I also plan to get a nice little position in XRP just in case something happens.
I've had XRP since 2017.
It's the same price.
It's worth less than what it was in
What about your followers? If you're an XRP, isn't your followers going to be pissed? Like, that's the man.
No, it's gotten to the point where, like, you're making money. Everybody's trying to make money in crypto. Right. You know what I mean? I don't have any decentralization, like, junkies.
But why not just stick it to the blue chip boring stuff?
Because I'm an investment. I make investments to make money. You know what I mean? And if XRP makes me money, it makes me money.
Okay.
Like
why not like the S&P 500?
You can hate Facebook. You can hate Facebook, right, for what it does, right? But can use it to make money. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure I follow that.
No, like you can invest in Facebook stock,
right.
And if you think it'll go up, right, and then it'll make.
But why not just put like 50% of your net worth in the S&P?
I'll be honest. I don't understand it enough to do
you just
like
dollar cost average and that's it.
No, yeah, but like the concept behind the S&P 500, like
stock market.
But it's actually fairly simple.
It's really simple. The stock market doubles roughly every 7 to 10 years. Rule of 72. It grows by 7 to 10% per year. So you divide 72 by the percent returns.
Okay.
And you get the years that it takes to double your money. It's slow, but it's not as exciting as like Dogecoin.
I mean, the crypto doubles every 24 hours.
Yeah.
It also
it is hard to
1/10 every couple minutes. Yeah.
Right. So
up and down, it doesn't have that volatility.
Yeah, but I also like Polygon.
Okay.
I'm also a fan of obviously Ethereum. I feel like everybody should have some Ethereum.
Yeah.
But the majority of my stuff is in like what I consider safe crypto, or like crypto with big market caps that have already kind of
showed just high risk, high reward.
Especially,
but the thing is this: they're not gonna like 1,000x, and I know that, right? But would I rather put 100 grand into Cardano, which I know it'll at least 10x in the next bull run? Or would I put 100,000 in a brand new meme coin and hopefully it'll 1,000 bajillionx? Like I would rather put it in a crypto that I know will at least 10x safely.
That seems like very angel fund investor thinking, which makes sense. But why not?
Like that thesis of being around for a long time is an interesting one. Like how many companies are around, how many cryptos are around.
Realistically speaking, do you think Bitcoin will 10x?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Over the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
That makes it. That's trillions and trillions of dollars.
That's not that much money. Market
compared to like gold and money.
No. Compared to the available supply versus what real money has an effective market caps. It's not. We don't need trillions of actual dollars to go into it. Like all we need is a couple billion.
Okay, because I'm thinking just the market cap going.
The market cap, yeah, but
it doesn't need to be.
It's not 1-to-1 ratio. It's like exponential. You put in $100, the market cap might be reflected times $10,000.
So just like a doubling of excitement might do multiples.
Oh, easily. Just BlackRock getting their hands on the ETF and finally getting it approved. True, I think maybe not immediately.
The SEC pushed that back, didn't they?
What's that?
The SEC pushed.
The SEC pushed back on it, but they're eventually going to have to approve it.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So if you agree, do you agree, Dylan, that Bitcoin will 10x?
Well, I thought that was maybe a little extreme, but
I
can believe it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so if we can, and I feel like the majority of people watching are going to agree that Bitcoin will 10x at some
Which,
point.
by the way, does not mean you should put 90% of your net worth in it.
Of course not.
Even though I strongly believe in it, I still have less than 10% of my net worth in it.
Yeah.
Okay, even so what percentage do you believe in that? 90%? Do you believe
it's
in
not
80%?
About how much I believe in it. It's about just using safe practices to be diversified so that if I am wrong, which could be true, then I'll be fine.
You're not wrong.
I could be, though.
I go with my gut.
I don't know. I'm moving out of crypto.
That's probably why.
But what's worse, like being broke or not having an extra $5 million?
I get that.
Right. Being
broke.
Well, what about real estate? What do you want to buy? Like,
actually, I was thinking about buying a house. We were talking about that too.
We were, yeah.
That's a possibility. I mean, I'm down for real estate.
It's got utility on top of it.
It's got utility, but it's just a slower growth.
Where do you see yourself going in the future? Like, are you still making YouTube videos? You're not like as consistent as you used to be.
Well, YouTube just took a dump. You know what I mean? Overall,
all
I'm
YouTube
just
is
trying to get in. You guys don't have to dump.
you picked the craziest time to get in. Let me tell you.
That's true.
all YouTube is for finance influencers is a barometer of the market and people's sentiment.
Right. If people
So
want
right
to
now,
know.
no one's interested because there's nothing happening.
Right.
Which makes sense. But if the economy is going down, or if everyone's making money like they used to, we satisfy a curiosity and a knowledge. And that's really it. But right now, there's the economy is actually doing what it's supposed to, nothing, and be boring, which is the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
But it was so anomalous, in the last few years, that it's not normal.
Right.
So, do you see yourself kind of sticking with it, or
Crypto?
no, just YouTube and making videos?
YouTube.
Can we kick it up a notch too for that
Go
answer?
for it. Make it.
All right, let's do it, man. I feel like Elvis Presley in here with this mic.
I feel a little lightheaded. Right
Dude, me too. Should we call it? I'm down. No, let's keep going. First up, guys. I can't be the first guy in.
First guy in,
nothing,
first guy out.
Nothing.
This
is nothing to me.
Okay.
It's funny we're matching shirts, which was not planned, and
Well-
these shirts no one wears. Why is that? How is that a thing?
Andre, now that I'm a millionaire, we shop at the same place.
Yeah,
I've had this since high
Saks Fifth
school.
Avenue, that's where they go.
It's my successful laugh.
What's the next thing for you?
The next thing for me, I'm thinking about moving. Actually,
Moving,
What?
yeah, I'm thinking about moving somewhere that's more crypto friendly,
like Puerto Rico.
or Dubai,
Vegas. Oh yeah, you gotta go
or
to the country.
Portugal, or what's another crypto friendly place?
St. Kitts and St. Lucia.
St. Lucia.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like millions of dollars is a lot to be paying in taxes
Right.
when it's all said and done. Like when I decide to cash out, I will
Humble
have to
brag.
pay.
Tell me you make millions without telling me you make millions.
Millions in taxes is so much money to be paying the government.
Kermit
You
the
get
Frog
the
has entered the
strongest
chat.
military in the world. You sure?
What?
Strongest military in the world. You're gonna
I
give up on
mean,
that?
they also say it's the healthiest food system in the world, and we know that's not true.
I think we should go outside and have a little chat outside.
Okay, let's do
so
it.
we're not-
Let's do a cool down. Nice one, guys.